Mundo in the morning on KCMO Talk Radio.
I know this might not shock you that young people generally hate America, but the numbers are what's surprising here. Happy Wednesday. Great to be back on KCMO Talk Radio. Hope your morning's off to a great start. Stay cool, by the way. Axios, new poll came out. Reading this from Axios. This was dropped yesterday afternoon. Poll, youth sour on America. Share of young adults who say they are extremely proud to be American has fallen off a cliff. American patriotism has faced a steep decline, writes Axios, amongst young adults over the last decade and now sits at a record low. Pride in national identity is lowest amongst those 18 to 34 years old and illustrates the fracture between young Americans and older generations at a time of deep partisanship in the United States. Overall, 39% of U.S. adults say they're extremely proud to be American in the most recent poll. The other 61% can move. I'm kidding. But now when you break it down by age, only 18% of those 18 to 34 said they were extremely proud to be American. That's half of the number for the overall U.S. population. 40% of those 35 to 54 and 50% of those over 55 say they're extremely proud to be American. Now, here's what's amazing. Look at this number. By comparison, in 2013, 85% of those aged 18 to 29 said they were extremely or very proud to be American. So young people, 10 years ago, overwhelmingly were very proud to be American or extremely proud to be American. Now the number's under 20%. What the heck happened? Now, yes, we can look at the colleges and indoctrination and all this stuff. My first thought was, well, I mean, Obama was president 10 years ago. Young people liked Obama. Maybe it was really that simple. But then I'm thinking, well, if it's really just about whether or not a Democrat's in office and young people will lean towards the Democrat Party, then why wouldn't they have the same pride right now with Grandpa running the show, right? I mean, I know he's not Obama in terms of being hip and cool and all those different things, but at least he's of their political ilk, right? And he's frankly been a more progressive president than Barack Obama ever was on a lot of issues. So wouldn't that make up for the fact that, all right, he's not all that cool even when he tries to wear his aviators? Like, wouldn't that make up for it? No. You have seen a massive drop in young people being proud to be American. Why would that be? Well, I mean, yes, you can point at schools. Yes, you can point at higher education, colleges. But I think there's something else. I think that social media and the fabric of social media, which young people use on average more than older people, has become this echo chamber where they see this stuff, they hear people saying, America sucks, it's not a good place, without any real context to what the rest of the world looks like. And their life experiences are so limited that they just buy it and they believe it. And once you get in the echo chamber and you want to be part of the club, it's not cool. Let's be honest. And whether it's you or your children, ask them in that age range, especially, let's say, 18 to 29, under the age of 30. It's not cool to be like, yeah, I'm proud to be an American. In most social circles. Now, if you're in the military, that's different. But in most social circles, 18 to 29, I guarantee you if you walk into a party and you say, yeah, I'm rah-rah America, I'm proud to be an American, most times that's not going to be a popular opinion. And when you're young, you're a conformist, and you want to be part of the in crowd, you're not going to sign up for that. You're not going to walk in and say that. And then ultimately, if you spend enough time around that, you start to believe it. I think it's really that simple. 913-408-7710 to try to answer this question. Why have young people and their American pride completely collapsed in the last 10 years. I mean, there's a lot of factors here, and the two that I come back to, of course, are the higher education and the social media. But there's got to be something else going on that I'm not thinking of. Some of the other metrics here to note. In addition to age, party identification is one of the greatest demographic differentiators in expression of national pride. The percentage of those extremely proud to be American stands at 60% for Republicans, 33% for independents, and 29% for Democrats. Now, that's fascinating to me because Republicans right now are more likely to feel like the country's not in a good place because of who's in control, right? By nature, Republicans are more likely to think, okay, well, my guy's not in the White House, my party's not running the Senate, therefore, we're going to hell in a handbasket. But still, 60% of Republicans are still very proud or extremely proud to be American. And I would consider myself part of that extremely proud group. And it's not because I love the direction of the country right now, but no matter what, I'm always going to believe and bet on America and think that America can overcome a really bad presidency or a really bad Congress. I think the system was built to overcome that. Now, there are days that you question it. Some days are better than others. Some days are worse than others. But you still, I at least, am of the belief that there's nothing close to this country. And until proven otherwise, nothing will be close to what America provides you from an opportunity perspective. Now, do I see the American dream being harder to achieve now than a generation or two ago? I do. You look at housing costs, higher education costs. Those are certainly issues that previous generations did not have to deal with. And how we got here, how we got to this point is a completely different conversation. But I'm still extremely proud and believe that America can ultimately right the ship. But when less than 3 in 10 Democrats say they're extremely proud, when their guy's been in charge and theoretically has been pushing policies that they like, that's what I can't wrap my head around. What would make you extremely proud? What would get you to the point of being extremely proud? Is it one issue? Is it social issues? Is it tax policy? I don't know. And that's where I say maybe it's just the concept of what America stands for that a lot of people don't like. And maybe that number, just frankly, in today's environment, can't budge above 30-35% on the other side of the aisle. I am surprised it's as low as it is for independents, though. Independents, according to this Gallup poll, only 33% of them saying they're extremely proud to be an American. I didn't think it'd be 60 where Republicans are at, but I thought it'd be in the 42 to 48 range, and it's not. And that's another number where I was like, okay, if you can't get independents close to 50%, what's that all about? How are they down at 33, and how does that start to turn? Or is it possibly for independents, it's simply about how divided things are, where independents might feel like they have no political home right now, therefore they have soured on America and on their pride for this country. It could be as simple as that. 913-408-7710. 913-408-7710. I want you to help me figure this out. Because I'm sitting here reading this poll and saying, okay, Republicans are more proudful of their American citizenship than Democrats are. I get that. Young people don't like or are not as proud to be Americans as older people. I get that. But the margins are what is shocking to me. And how that reverses course. I think time helps, of course. The older you get, the more life experiences you have. Hopefully, you develop that pride in America. But boy, when you're starting at 18%, whew, that's bad. Our youth has soured on America more so than ever before. You go back just 10 years. Just 10 years. That's it. And about 40% of young people were extremely proud to be American. That number, per a new Gallup poll, came out yesterday, has the number at 18% this year. In those young people, 18 to 34, who are extremely proud to be an American. How do you explain it? 913-408-7710. Let's go to our buddy Buzz Lightyear. What's up, Buzz? Good morning.
Good morning, Pete. Here's my perspective. I think it's been going on for a longer time than that. And I'll give you an example, my personal example here. 1979, I joined the military. Spent 22 years of my life in there. And I'll never forget coming back home after being gone for 9 to 12 months and all that. I was at a party with my friends, I guess you might say, my peers. And so a young lady came up to me and she said, what have you been doing and all that? I go, well, and I was excited. I was a new troop and all that. I joined the military. And she stopped and looked at me and said, wow, what a waste of time. So I think a lot of these people are, stuck in the 60s and 70s. That mindset, it was probably passed down through media, through education. It's permeated to this, generation in the last 10 years. So,
But how do you explain 10 years ago, 40% of young people saying they were proud to be an American, and now the number's been cut in half to 18%? How would you explain that?
Well, okay, so 1979 when I went in, that was right after Vietnam. And I was, 19, 20 years old. So, again, I just think, my generation, at least who I hung around with at the time, were just, drank the Kool-Aid from the media and all that. And now we just, spent many years in Iraq and Afghanistan and all that. So, I don't know. I think it's the constant barrage, media, social media, and all that it's, I don't know, they're apathetic, I guess you might say. Well, look at the recruitment of the military. I mean, they are grabbing everybody. So,
yeah. Well, Buzz, thank you. I appreciate your anecdotal experience, but where I'm not seeing the correlation is to how in the last 10 years we've gone from a 40% number of young people being proud to today's number of 18. Especially when, you go back to that time in the 80s and you have a country that overwhelmingly elected Ronald Reagan and then reelected him by crazy numbers and, then of course put HW in there for a hot minute. 913-408-7710. Let's go to Larry. He is in Prairie Village. Larry, what's up?
Well, I want to chime in on this patriotism thing. I'm 74 years old, and I've never felt patriotic. Wow. But
well, you don't sound a day over 73, Larry. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, thank you. And I've just never had it. I've never been anti-American. I think I lucked out being born in America. This is probably a better place to live than most. But as far as pride, how can you have pride in something that you had nothing to do with? You just crawled out of the right womb. To me, it's like being proud that you're white. Being proud of your race, something you had nothing to do with. I could care less that I'm white. And also we have access to the world now. We see other countries, nobody just seems to be down totally in misery unless it's, Bangladesh or something. Most country people appear to be happy in what they're doing. And so you think it's hard to pump up and say, I'm proud over something that, I was just born here. I'm neutral about it. I'm proud to be on Earth, I guess. I don't get the flag waving, pumped up pride over the whole thing. I never have.
So let me ask you this then, Larry. You said there that America's probably a better place to live than most.
I would say it is. I would say it is. I'll refine that and say it is a better place to live than most.
So even though you were just born here, and you're right, there's just luck involved in terms of where you end up being born, You don't
Right.
have pride in the fact that you still are a participant for 74 years of your life in the greatest country in the history of mankind? That you're not proud of the fact that you, Larry, may have in a small way, I don't know what you've done with your life, contributed to that and gotten to live the American dream and live in a place like Prairie Village, which is a obviously beautiful community?
No, I just don't feel pride. I feel neutral about it. So I'm being proud of a club I belong to or something. I mean, it's just pride comes from accomplishment, not from just being born someplace.
But the country has accomplished the country through business, through foreign policy, being the leader of the free world, has accomplished so much that has made not just the country a great place, but the world a great place. You're not proud of that. Even though you haven't served, you're not proud of that.
No, I mean, I could drum it up and say, yeah, I'm proud of that. But I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I've never understood flag waving and all that. To me, it's akin to racism in a way. Being proud of, I'm proud that I'm white, man. I'm so glad I'm not black.
Oh, my.
I'm proud I'm an
Come
American.
on. God, Larry, but the beauty of America, it's the greatest melting pot. You're viewing being proud to be an American.
It's not.
Come on.
It is not. It's like, look. Listen, I used this analogy once on a Chris show, saying, what if you were born in Mission Hills? The most affluent, the best neighborhood I guess you can be raised in this neighborhood. But what if you walked around wearing Mission Hill T-shirts and waving Mission Hill flags and telling the whole world, I was born in Mission Hills, chump. You were born in Overland Park. I mean, you would want to slap that guy, wouldn't you?
Well, Larry, thank you. I don't want to say who I want to smack because, you might make the top of the list. I'm just kidding, Larry. We love you. No, you can't compare Mission Hills, the guy wearing his high school varsity jacket at 52, to the high school reunion. You can't compare that to being proud to be an American, which is about so much more than the town you grew up in, right? To me, I mean, what America has done in 250 years and what it represents to the world. Mission Hills doesn't represent anything to the world. What America does, what that flag stands for, is different than wearing your high school football jersey from 1972. I don't think those are in any way proper analogy. Let's squeeze in Sam in Parkville. I got a minute, Sam. It's yours. Go ahead.
Hey, so I'm actually in the age demographic that they're referring to here. I'm 28. When it comes to patriotism for me and a lot of people I know, a lot of people, we still, we love the heritage of the nation, where we came from. So I can understand why even a few years ago people were positive about patriotism, but lately, this country has pretty much undergone. We've been exposed to the fact that this country is just objectively corrupt, and the way that we're viewed on the world stage now. I mean, if you ask someone from another country, the American flag has become synonymous with the pride flag, and all we do is bully small countries into adopting our so-called American values, which, if you ask someone else who doesn't, from another country, they'll think it's all to do with this progressive, woke agenda, because that's really what the administration nowadays is representing. So, yeah, it's pretty easy to be ashamed of this country right now.
Thank you, Sam. I think that interestingly might apply to folks on both sides of the political aisle. And that maybe makes this unique as well as why the numbers are so low.